What's up, YouTube? This is JP Panther back for another video. And today's video, while I know everyone's been talking about this video, or at least this topic, it's a whole big discussion happening around, especially around Star Wars fans and Disney and things like that. But I really want to talk about it. Bob Iger, the Disney CEO, he has his autobiography. His book is out right now. I don't know why he's promoting a book right now, but I guess he's doing it at this particular time. But pretty much in the book, and this is why it's been such a big headline, is that he pretty much says in the book that George Lucas was not happy with the Disney Star Wars sequel. And it shows you that they did not use any of his outline, and he was very upset and pissed off what Disney has done to his Star Wars property. But to be fair, and I really want to talk about this. Let's be fair. George Lucas sold the company to Disney out of his own free will, and a lot of it was because of the backlash with the prequels. If you guys, in the late 90s, early 2000s, with the prequel movies, people got a lot of Star Wars fans were mad and things like that, and he got tired of dealing with the backlash. So he's just like, okay, let me just sell the company to Disney. And I guess he didn't really think about it, and when he did, it really came back and really bit him in the ass. So now he realizes that the Star Wars movies are not his movies, it's Disney's movies. And let's be honest, right? Think about this. At the time when George Lucas had it, Star Wars was before Marvel, right? Star Wars was the #1 movie franchise in the world. I mean, the whole entire world, at least in America. It resonates more with Americans than overseas because, you have the original sequel. You have the original trilogy in the 70s and the 80s, and you got to realize that overseas and things like that, they weren't even allowing American movies in there, rather having so times were different. So when the Disney comes out with their Star Wars trilogy, it doesn't resonate with overseas like it does in America. And also the problem with Disney, when George Lucas bought it, you could tell that they used that platform. Think about it. You have the #1 movie. If you're Bob Iger and Mickey Mouse, and you have a social, political, feminist agenda, and Star Wars is the #1 movie franchise on the planet, and let's get this straight, right? Star Wars, let's be honest, a lot of conservatives, they really love their Star Wars. So if you are Mickey Mouse and you're Bob Iger, you're thinking like, okay, we about to buy this for $4 billion. Let's use this movie franchise and push our feminism, our identity politics, or a social political agenda, use this platform and introduce it to a worldwide mainstream audience. And by doing that, we can convert all these other people who don't agree with that, and we can just call you a racist, a sexist, a homophobic, and things like that. So they have George Lucas' property, his baby, but they're going to use it for their own personal political agenda and their own social political personal motives. And I think he's realizing that, because when I'm reading the articles and things like that, it shows you that George Lucas was not happy at all. They said that he met with J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy on his ranch, and I guess they showed him The Force Awakens, and he hated it. He despised it and things like that. And they said that they were going to use, I guess, because what I read about is that he wanted them to use the outline that he was going to give Disney, and they were saying, okay, well, we'll probably pinky cross and say, yeah, we'll use it, blah blah blah. You could tell they were just signing the deals. There was nobody there that was an actual fan. They just have a political agenda. And George Lucas was very upset that they did not use any of his ideas. To be fair, I have to also be honest as well. Bob Iger, he did say that we are not obligated to use your ideas and your outlines. And thing is, they should have listened to him. I think they should have used his outlines, but they're like, no, we're going to go in a different direction and pretty much go into our Disney Star Wars trilogy and do whatever we want. And I think that's kind of hurt them, in my personal opinion. I feel like you should listen to what the creative Star Wars have to say. The problem with Disney and let's just be honest, a lot of corporations, They just see a $1 billion, blockbuster or a franchise and just becomes greedy with it. And they don't understand. Just because you buy a franchise, you also have to deal with the fans. And George Lucas was trying to tell him, do this outline and things like that, so you could be able to handle the fan base. And, let's be honest, I'm a Star Wars fan too, but a lot of Star Wars fans are pretty demonic. Let's be honest. They're really, really passionate and they love about Star Wars. You might have, some that are racist and sexist, but I think a lot of it is that they're very passionate and they're ready to die and fight for Star Wars no matter what. I don't think it's you might have some that are racist, sexist, but I think a lot of it is passion and the energy and the love that they have for the franchise. But also, I think part of it is that Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy and Rian Johnson, I just feel like they didn't have a plan. I just felt like they went into it thinking like, okay, we could just pump out a Star Wars film every year. Since we have the Star Wars name and brand, we'll make money regardless. We'll make $1 billion every single time. And I think that's kind of that mentality, that mindset has came back and really hurt them, because you can't. The problem with Star Wars, and hopefully you guys could agree or disagree with me, is that you can't treat it like Marvel. And I get why they're trying to treat everything like Marvel. Marvel has, you got to realize what Marvel is, that, I try to stay with Star Wars, but I'll just use a Marvel example, is that Marvel had 23 movies in 11 years build up. And also the thing is with Marvel compared to Star Wars is that the Marvel fan base is more, you have more of a, I guess, a liberal, a more democratic geek audience, where Star Wars is more of a conservative geek audience, if that makes kind of sense, because the fan base of Marvel is a lot more progressive than the Star Wars fans. Don't get me wrong, I'm a Star Wars fan too, and I'm a Marvel fan as well, but Marvel, the fan base, they have more of a political agenda than Star Wars fans. Star Wars just want the Jedi and the Sith and all that, where Marvel fans, they just want to kind of like check a box. Because if you think I'm lying, why do you think a lot of them wanted Black Panther and Captain Marvel out so much? Why do you think they want a more diverse superhero lineup? Because they want every other race to be represented and have them become a part of their franchise and become a powerful brand that's pretty much unstoppable. Star Wars fans is like, no, they're more gatekeeping. Like, if you have not read these comics or watched these TV shows, then you can get the hell out of here. That's just their mindset. You feel me? That's just how they are. And it shows you that not every fan base is the same. And I think Disney realized that real quick, because when you try to put out a film every year, you have to, with a franchise like Star Wars, you got to separate and put out like every 2 to 3 years. You have to make it special. If you put out a Star Wars film every single year, or movie or TV show every single year, it doesn't feel special. It just feels like you're just using it as a $1 billion cash grab and trying to make as much money as possible. And now the fan base, they don't, right now they're voting with their wallets, which is smart, instead of just yelling and screaming and cursing. If you guys don't like how Disney's taking the Star Wars franchise, just boycott it. I'll be honest with you, just boycott it. Because if you vote with your wallet, it shows. And it shows you that, the article talks about how he didn't like The Force Awakens. He was really pissed off about it. And I can see why, because, listen, I like The Force Awakens. I enjoyed it. But again, let's be honest, it was a ripoff of A New Hope. It was literally shot by shot A New Hope. It was nothing different. And he got mad because it was nothing challenging. And you could tell that, by doing Force Awakens made like $2 billion. Rogue One made like $1 billion. Last Jedi made $1.3 billion. But you also got to realize that that's the movie that divided the fan base. And then you have Han Solo, which bombs, and now Rise of Skywalker. They don't have a clue what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. And I think they have to retrack, and you could tell they're probably asking George Lucas for some help. And it looks like with this new Star Wars movie, Episode 9, it looks like they're gonna bring back Palpatine, because he's all over the poster. And I wouldn't be surprised if they bring back Darth Vader. I wouldn't be surprised with Palpatine and Darth Vader if they pull like an Avengers Endgame and in time travel and just mess up the whole entire story. I'll personally, honest with you guys, I don't like time travel. I just feel like it's easy cop out. But I feel like Disney and Star Wars, or at least Lucasfilm, they're gonna try to pull that stuff. They're probably gonna pull a time travel thing. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I feel like Episode 9 is gonna be a copy and paste of a copy and paste of Return of the Jedi and Revenge of the Sith, because there's just too many elements. You watch the trailer, I'm like, oh, and Kylo and Rey are fighting, and a mountain, no, in a planet that's full of water. You know what I mean? Like, you could just tell. And then that was the same thing with Revenge of the Sith, where you had Obi-Wan and Anakin Skywalker fighting a planet full of lava and fire. So it's just like, okay, you guys are really doing copy and paste. But the whole point I'm trying to say is that, I'm trying to wrap this video up, is that Disney went into Star Wars treating like Marvel. They treated like, they treated like Oprah. Like, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car, you get a Star Wars, you get a Star Wars film, you got to still get a Star Wars film. And now I feel like a lot of it is coming back and bite them in the ass. That's how I truly feel. I feel like all the stuff that we've been hearing about with George Lucas and now the fan base is this and that, I feel like Disney and Lucasfilms finally realizing that. And I feel like it's hurting their wallets because Galaxy Edge isn't doing that well. The Han Solo flopped. You know, they're cutting a lot of Galaxy Edge employees and things like that. Attendance are down. And there was this report on on Deadline, that one of the Disney park attendees, she's pretty much out, or at least I guess she quit or she got fired or laid off or whatever it is. But it shows you that Star Wars fans, they're boycotting with their wallet, and they're showing you that you got to give the fans what they want. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm kind of with them to a certain extent. It's like, you can't sit here and make this to a feminist girl power franchise and expect no backlash. You feel me? And I think it's hurting Disney and Bob Iger, Kathleen Kennedy a lot. And it shows you because episode 9 is supposed to be like the conclusion. This was supposed to be like the final movie of the Star Wars Disney trilogy, and there's no hype. I mean, if people's talking more about Joker than Star Wars, we have a problem. And this is a Disney property, so I feel like Disney, they got to get their crap together. So that's pretty much it for the video discussion. What you guys think? Do you agree what Bob Iger says? How, you know, we just gonna do whatever we want with Star Wars, or do you agree with George Lucas? Do you agree on do you guys like the new Disney Star Wars? Do you hate it? Do you love it? Or are you on the side with George Lucas? Like, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know in the comment section. Rate and like the video. Subscribe. Peace and have a great day. And take care.